In the year 2473, humanity had already stepped far beyond the limits of Earth. It was the late 25th century, a time when humans were no longer a single-planet species. For more than 200 years, humans had slowly expanded into the galaxy, building colonies, space stations, and exploration fleets. Dozens of star systems were now under human control, and millions of people lived on distant planets far away from Earth. Some planets were rich with forests and oceans, while others were harsh desert worlds where settlers had built cities under giant protective domes. Humanity was still young compared to the age of the galaxy, but it had already proven something important. It refused to stay small. Among all the human colonies, one of the most important was Nova Terra Prime, a powerful and advanced world that served as a major center of science, exploration, and military command. Massive orbital shipyards floated above the planet, constantly building new starships designed for long journeys into unknown space. From these shipyards came some of humanity's most advanced vessels, ships built not only to explore but also to protect human lives in the dangerous emptiness between the stars. One of those ships was the HSS Resolute Dawn. At first glance, it looked like a standard exploration vessel, designed to travel far beyond the borders of human territory. The ship was over 800 meters long, with a sleek silver hull that reflected the light of nearby stars. Along its sides were long rows of sensor arrays scanning equipment, communication towers designed to study planets, moons, and cosmic phenomena. Inside the ship, more than 80 crew members lived and worked together: scientists, engineers, navigators, and trained security officers. Their mission was simple but extremely important: travel into unexplored regions of space and map what was out there. Commanding the ship was Captain Marcus Hale, a man known across the fleet for his calm mind and sharp instincts. He had spent more than 20 years traveling through deep space. His dark hair was beginning to show a few lines of gray, a reminder of the many years he had spent far away from home. But his eyes still carried the same quiet confidence that had earned him command of one of humanity's most trusted exploration vessels. Captain Hale believed strongly in humanity's mission to explore the galaxy, but he also understood that space was not always safe. The HSS Resolute Dawn had departed from the orbital shipyards of Nova Terra Prime 3 weeks earlier. Its destination was a distant and poorly understood region known as Orion Frontier Sector 17, a massive area of space located near the outer border of human exploration. The sector was filled with strange cosmic formations, drifting asteroid fields, and unstable energy clouds that made long-range scanning difficult. Many areas there had never been explored by any human ship before. To most of the crew, the mission felt routine. They had spent the last few days calmly mapping star systems, recording data about planets, and analyzing unusual radiation patterns inside nearby nebula clouds. The ship moved silently through the dark void, its engines glowing faintly as it traveled faster than light between distant stars. Life aboard the vessel followed a steady rhythm. Engineers checked the ship's systems, scientists studied sensor readings, and the navigation team carefully guided the vessel through the complex gravitational fields of the sector. But on the 21st day of the mission, something unusual happened. The ship had just entered a narrow region of space filled with drifting rocks known as Nebula Passage 32, a massive asteroid corridor that stretched for thousands of kilometers. As the ship carefully moved between the floating stones, the main sensor console suddenly detected something strange. At first, the signal appeared weak and unstable, almost like background interference. The system flagged it automatically, and the data appeared on the bridge screens. The officer operating the sensor station frowned as he studied the readings. The energy pattern did not match any natural phenomenon. It wasn't radiation from a star, and it wasn't the signature of a known human vessel either. The signal seemed artificial, but it was extremely faint, as if it were coming from a great distance or hidden behind something. The officer quickly reported the anomaly to Captain Hale. The captain stepped closer to the sensor display and watched the strange signal flicker across the screen. For a moment, the bridge grew quiet as the crew waited for an explanation. "Captain, Hala had seen many strange readings during his years in space, but something about this one felt different. The computer tried to identify the signal, comparing it to every known human transmission pattern. After a few seconds, the system returned. An unexpected result. Unknown origin. That alone was enough to make the crew uneasy. The navigation computer also revealed something else. The signal appeared to be coming from a nearby region, marked on very old exploration charts as Alien Sector K94. The sector had never been fully explored by humans, mostly because it was hidden behind unstable nebula clouds that interfered with long-range scanners. For decades, the area had remained a mystery. Captain Hale calmly ordered the sensors to run a deeper scan. The ship slowed slightly as its advanced arrays focused on the distant signal source. Everyone on the bridge watched, the screens closely, waiting for new data. What they did not know was that far beyond the asteroid field, hidden deep within the shadows of space, something else had already detected them, something powerful, something watching, and somewhere in the darkness of Alien Sector K94, an unknown fleet had just noticed the arrival of a human ship. The crew of the HSS Resolute Dawn believed they were exploring empty space. But in reality, they had just crossed into territory controlled by one of the most dangerous alien empires in the DS galaxy. And the moment the humans appeared on their scanners, the aliens began preparing a trap. Far beyond the drifting asteroids of Nebula Passage 32, deep inside the mysterious region known as Alien Sector K94, a powerful empire ruled the darkness of space. This empire was called the Karthari Dominion. For hundreds of years, the Karthari had controlled thousands of star systems across the galaxy. Many alien civilizations feared them, and some had already been destroyed by their expanding fleets. The Karthari were not explorers like humans. They were conquerors. Wherever their ships traveled, they demanded obedience from weaker species. Planets that refused to surrender were often attacked and destroyed. Entire civilizations had disappeared. After encountering the Karthari Dominion, their main military command in this region was located near a brutal volcanic planet called Zorathnine from space. Zorathnine looked like a burning world. Rivers of glowing lava flowed across its dark surface, and huge storms of ash covered its sky. The planet was not a peaceful place, but the Karthari used it as a powerful war base. Massive orbital stations floated above the planet, surrounded by fleets of heavily armed warships. At the center of this fleet was one of the most feared alien commanders in the Dominion. His name was War Admiral Zirax Thal. Zirax Thal was tall and intimidating even among his own species. His skin had a dark metallic tone, and his eyes glowed faintly red in the dim light of the command bridge. For more than 40 years, he had commanded fleets across many alien sectors. His strategies were brutal, but effective. Under his command, several civilizations had already fallen to the Karthari Dominion. The Admiral's flagship was a massive, alien warship called the Oblivion Talon. The ship was enormous, much larger than most human vessels. Its black armored hull stretched more than 2 kilometers long, covered with rows of heavy plasma cannons and energy launchers. The design of the ship looked aggressive and predatory, almost like a giant claw floating through space. Inside the warship's command chamber, holographic star maps filled the air with glowing lights. Alien officers monitored sensor data and fleet movements while dozens of smaller warships patrolled the surrounding area. For the Karthari Dominion, Alien Sector K94 was an important border territory. It was located near the edge of unexplored space, where unknown civilizations might someday appear. Because of this, the Dominion kept strong military forces in the sector to quickly eliminate any possible threats. On that same day, while the human ship HSS Resolute Dawn was slowly traveling through Nebula Passage 32, something unusual appeared on the long-range scanners of the Karthari fleet. One of the alien sensor operators noticed a faint signal moving near the asteroid corridor. At first, the reading looked small and unimportant, but after a deeper scan, the system confirmed that it was a starship. The operator quickly reported the information to Admiral Zirax Thal. Moments later, the holographic display in the command chamber zoomed in on the unknown contact. The ship was still very far away, but the computer could already detect its engine pattern. It was not a Karthari ship. It was not part of any known alien fleet. The vessel belonged to an unknown species. The alien officers looked at the reading with curiosity. It was rare for foreign ships to enter alien sector K-94, because most civilizations were too afraid to travel near Dominion territory. Admiral Zyrax Thal studied the data silently for several seconds. Then he asked the most important question. Identify the species. The computer searched through thousands of known civilizations but found no exact match. However, it did locate one possible record from a distant observation probe sent many years earlier. The species was listed under a simple name: humans. The file described humans as a young civilization that had recently begun expanding into nearby star systems. Their technology was still developing, and they controlled only a small part of the galaxy compared to older empires. When the alien officers read the information, many of them reacted with amusement. To the Karthari Dominion, young civilizations were easy targets. They had attacked similar species many times before. Usually those encounters ended with surrender, slavery, or total destruction. Admiral Zyrax Thal leaned forward slightly as he studied the holographic image of the approaching human vessel. The ship was identified as HSS Resolute Dawn. According to the scan, it appeared to be an exploration ship, not a war vessel. That made the situation even more amusing for the Karthari commander. An unarmed exploration ship had accidentally entered Dominion territory. To Zyrax Thal, the situation looked like a simple opportunity. He quickly gave an order to prepare an interception. 3 alien destroyers from the nearby patrol fleet were immediately selected for the mission. These ships were known for their speed and heavy firepower. Their names were Void Hunter, Crimson Fang Night Reaper. Each destroyer was equipped with powerful energy cannons capable of destroying most ships in a matter of seconds. The plan was extremely simple. The destroyers would jump into hyperspace and appear directly around the human vessel. Once the ship was surrounded, the aliens would send a transmission demanding surrender. If the humans obeyed, they would be captured and studied. If they refused, the Karthari would destroy the ship and leave the wreckage drifting through space. As a warning, Admiral Zyrax Thal had performed this exact strategy many times before. It had never failed. As the alien destroyers prepared to jump across space, the Admiral watched the sensor display calmly. In his mind, the outcome was already decided. A young species had wandered into the territory of a powerful empire. Now they were about to learn an important lesson. The destroyers activated their hyperspace drives, and within seconds, the ships disappeared into glowing tunnels of blue light. Their destination was clear. They would arrive directly around the human ship, traveling through Nebula Passage 32. What the Karthari commander did not realize was that this encounter would not end like the others. The ship they were hunting was not as weak as it appeared, and very soon the aliens would discover something unexpected about humanity. The trap had been set, but the Karthari Dominion had no idea that they were about to ambush the wrong prey. The HSS Resolute Dawn continued moving slowly through the drifting rocks of Nebula Passage 32. Outside the ship, thousands of dark asteroids floated silently through space. Some of them were small, like stones, while others were as large as mountains. The navigation system carefully guided the ship between them, making small adjustments to avoid collisions. Inside the bridge, everything felt calm and controlled. Captain Marcus Hale stood near the main command console, watching the large holographic star map floating in the center of the room. The crew members worked quietly at their stations. Engineers monitored the engines, navigators checked the ship's course, and the science team studied the strange energy signal that had been detected earlier near alien sector K-94. For several minutes, nothing unusual happened. Then suddenly the calm silence of the ship was broken. A loud alarm echoed across the bridge. Red warning lights flashed along the walls as the sensor officer leaned forward in shock. Captain. Multiple contacts detected, the officer said. Quickly, the holographic display changed instantly. Several bright red markers suddenly appeared around the ship's position. The markers were moving fast. Too fast. The computer analyzed the incoming signals and displayed the results on the screen. Unknown vessels approaching. Captain Hale stepped closer to the display. His face remained calm, but his eyes focused sharply on the new data. "How many ships?" he asked. The sensor officer quickly checked the readings. 3 confirmed. "Contacts, Captain, and they're closing distance rapidly." Before anyone could say anything else, space itself seemed to ripple around the ship. 3 bright flashes of blue light suddenly appeared between the asteroids. Large shapes began to form inside those glowing distortions. Within seconds, 3 massive alien warships emerged from hyperspace. The ships were dark and heavily armored, with sharp, aggressive designs that looked nothing like human vessels. Their hulls were covered with glowing weapon ports and strange alien symbols. The computer quickly identified them as hostile. Destroyers positioned themselves perfectly around the human ship, forming a triangle that blocked every escape route. The crew on the bridge stared at the screen in silence. The HSS Resolute Dawn had been completely surrounded. The alien ships were identified as Void Hunter, Crimson Fang, Night Reaper. Each one was larger than the human vessel and heavily armed. Before anyone could react, the communication system suddenly activated. A harsh, unfamiliar voice echoed across the bridge speakers. The translator system worked quickly to convert the alien language into human speech. "This vessel is now under the authority of the Karthari Dominion," the voice said coldly. The bridge grew completely silent as everyone listened. The alien continued speaking. "This is War Admiral Zyrax Thal, commander of the Dominion fleet in alien sector K94. The words felt heavy in the air. "You have entered restricted territory. Power down your engines, disable your weapons, and prepare to be boarded." The message paused for a moment before the final sentence arrived. "Any resistance will result in your immediate destruction." The transmission ended. For a few seconds, nobody on the bridge spoke. The situation was extremely dangerous. 3 powerful alien destroyers had appeared out of nowhere, and they clearly believed the human ship was helpless. One of the younger officers looked toward Captain Hale nervously. "Captain, their weapon systems are fully charged," he reported. Another crew member added more bad news. "They've locked targeting systems on us." The alien ships were ready to fire at any moment. But Captain Marcus Hale did not panic. Instead, he quietly studied the tactical display. The 3 destroyers had positioned themselves with confidence. Their formation showed that they believed the human ship would surrender quickly. Captain Hale understood something important at that moment. The aliens believed they were hunting prey, but they had made a serious mistake. He slowly walked toward the center of the bridge and looked at his crew. Some of them were nervous, but they were also well-trained. Every person on that ship knew their role if danger appeared. The captain took a calm breath. Then he gave the order that changed everything: battle stations. The words echoed clearly through the bridge. Immediately the crew began moving. With focused energy, the tactical officers activated hidden systems that had remained silent during the exploration mission. Across the ship, powerful internal doors sealed shut. Defense systems powered up. Energy levels began rising rapidly. The HSS Resolute Dawn was not just an exploration ship. Hidden beneath its scientific equipment were powerful experimental defense systems designed to protect human vessels operating near unknown territories. Outside the ship, the alien destroyers continued holding their positions confidently. Inside the flagship Oblivion Talon, far away near Zorathene, War Admiral Zyrax Thal watched the situation through long-range sensors. To him, everything looked simple. A small exploration ship had wandered into Dominion territory. Soon the humans would surrender. That was how these encounters usually ended. Back on the bridge of the human vessel, the communications officer spoke again. "Captain, the alien ships are requesting confirmation of surrender." Captain Hale looked at the tactical display one more time. 3 enemy ships, all targeting them, all expecting fear. But instead of ordering surrender, he gave another calm command. "Activate Aegis Titan shield system." Deep inside the ship, powerful generators roared to life. Energy surged through the hull as a glowing defensive field formed around the HSS Resolute Dawn. At the same time, hidden weapon ports along the ship's sides slowly opened. Large McGrail cannons began rotating into firing position. The alien destroyers had expected a frightened exploration crew. What they were about to face instead was a fully armed human combat vessel, and within a few seconds, the first shot of the battle would be fired. Inside the HSS Resolute Dawn, the atmosphere changed the moment Captain Marcus Hale gave the order for battle stations. The calm and quiet exploration ship suddenly transformed into a fully alert combat vessel. Red lights flashed across the hallways, and warning signals echoed through the ship as every crew member rushed to their assigned positions. The crew had trained for moments like this many times, but most of them had never faced a real battle in deep space before. On the bridge, the tactical display showed the 3 alien destroyers still surrounding the ship. The names Void Hunter, Crimson Fang, and Night Reaper glowed in red on the screen. Their weapons remained locked on the human vessel, waiting for any movement. The aliens were confident. From their point of view, the human ship looked small and harmless compared to their heavily armed destroyers. They expected the humans to surrender at any moment. But inside the HSS Resolute Dawn, powerful systems were coming online. Deep within the ship, large energy generators began releasing enormous power. The crew could feel a slight vibration under their feet as the defensive systems activated. The first system to fully power up was the Aegis Titan shield. Outside the ship, a faint blue glow suddenly surrounded the entire hull of the Resolute Dawn. The shield was almost invisible, but it created a powerful barrier capable of absorbing massive amounts of energy. The alien destroyers quickly detected the change. On the alien ship Crimson Fang, the sensor officer looked at his screen in confusion. The human vessel had suddenly activated a defense system far stronger than expected. The alien commander aboard the destroyer reported the information immediately. Meanwhile, on the human bridge, the tactical officer continued monitoring the alien ships carefully. "Shield system, fully operational, Captain," he said. Captain Marcus Hale nodded calmly. He then looked at the communications officer. "Send a signal to Defense Sector 21, he ordered. The officer quickly opened a secure channel and transmitted a message to nearby human patrol fleets. 2 ships immediately responded. The first was HSS Iron Valor, commanded by Captain Alina Ward, a highly respected officer known for her aggressive combat strategies. The second was HSS Stormbreaker, commanded by Captain Lucas Kane, a veteran captain who had spent many years defending human colonies. Both ships were currently patrolling the outer edge of Orion Frontier Sector 17, not 2. Far from the location of the Resolute Dawn, the message from Captain Hale was simple and urgent. Enemy contact. 3 hostile alien destroyers. Request immediate support. Back on the bridge, the crew waited for confirmation while watching the alien ships closely. But before any reinforcements could arrive, the situation suddenly escalated. One of the alien destroyers, Void Hunter, began charging its main weapon. The sensor officer spoke quickly, "Captain." Enemy weapons powering up. Display showed bright energy forming along the sides of the alien ship. The Karthari had clearly decided they were done waiting. They believed the humans were preparing to resist, and the Dominion did not tolerate resistance. A few seconds later, a powerful beam of energy shot across space from the destroyer. The attack moved incredibly fast, cutting through the darkness, and heading directly toward the HSS Resolute Dawn. On the bridge, several crew members held their breath. The energy beam struck the human ship. For a brief moment, the entire vessel shook, but the Aegis Titan shield absorbed the blast. Outside the ship, the blue shield glowed brightly as it stopped the powerful alien attack. The beam faded away. Without breaking through the defense, inside the alien destroyer Void Hunter, the crew stared at their screens in shock. Their weapon had easily destroyed many ships before, but the human vessel remained completely intact. Back on the human bridge, the tactical officer quickly reported the result. "Shield integrity at 96%, Captain." Allowed himself a small smile. The alien commander had just made a critical mistake. By firing first, the Karthari had officially started the battle. and now the humans had every reason to respond. The captain turned toward the weapons officer. "Prepare Magrel cannons," he said calmly.
Oh.
Along the sides of the Resolute Dawn, hidden panels slowly opened. Massive electromagnetic rail cannons rotated outward from the hull. These weapons were part of an experimental system designed by human engineers. Instead of using energy beams, the cannons fired solid metal projectiles at extremely high speeds. Even heavily armored ships could be destroyed by a direct hit. The alien destroyers had no idea these weapons existed. Inside the Oblivion Talon, War Admiral Zyrax Thau continued watching the battle through long-range sensors. When he saw the human ship survive the first attack, his expression changed slightly. This was unexpected. A small exploration vessel should not have shields strong enough to survive a destroyer's weapon. But the Admiral was not worried yet. He believed that 3 destroyers could easily overwhelm a single human ship. Back near the asteroid field, the 3 alien vessels began adjusting their formation. They prepared for a second wave of attacks. But the situation had already changed. The humans were no longer defending, they were preparing to strike back. On the bridge of the HSS Resolute Dawn, the weapons officer looked at the targeting screen. "All rail cannons locked on enemy ships," he reported. Captain Marcus Hale looked at the display one last time. 3 destroyers, all within range. The aliens believed they controlled the battlefield. But they had not yet seen what human technology could really do. Captain Hale gave the final command. "Fire."
The bridge of the HSS Resolute Dawn buzzed with energy as the ship's systems fully powered up. The crew was now in perfect sync, moving with practiced precision. Every sensor, every weapon, and every defense system was operating at maximum capacity. The alien destroyers, Void Hunter, Crimson Fang, and Night Reaper, still held their aggressive positions, confident that the humans would soon surrender or be destroyed. They had faced countless civilizations before, and none had survived such, but they had not faced humanity yet. Captain Marcus Halley stood calmly at the center of the bridge, his eyes focused on the tactical display. The captain knew exactly when and how to strike. He turned to the weapons officer. "Magrail cannons. Full charge. Prepare to fire on my mark." Deep within the ship, the massive Magrail cannons rotated into position. Their long barrels gleamed under the bridge lights. Each cannon could fire solid projectiles at incredible speeds, capable of tearing through the strongest hulls. The crew knew these weapons were experimental, but they had been tested rigorously. Today, they would be unleashed against real enemies. For the first time. Outside, the alien destroyers adjusted their formation, preparing for a coordinated assault. The Crimson Fang moved slightly closer, its sensors locking onto the human vessel. War Admiral Zyrax Thau aboard the Oblivion Talon observed the situation with his usual cold precision. He gave the order for a second wave. Energy beams fired from all 3 destroyers. They cut through the darkness at incredible speed, heading straight for the Resolute Dawn. The shields glowed brightly as the alien beams collided with them, but the ship held steady. Sensors showed minimal energy loss, and the crew felt the first real confidence of the battle. Then Captain Hawley gave the command everyone had been waiting for. "Fire all rail cannons." With a deep hum and mechanical recoil, the Magrail cannons discharged simultaneously. Massive projectiles shot out of the human ship at unbelievable velocity. The first hit struck the Crimson Fang squarely in its forward hull. Sensors on the alien ship immediately registered catastrophic damage. Hull plating melted and systems short-circuited. Within seconds, the destroyer began to break apart, attempting evasive maneuvers, but the Resolute Dawn had anticipated their movements. The next rail cannon rounds hit the Void Hunter, tearing through its engines and causing a massive explosion that lit up the dark asteroid field. The Night Reaper tried to retreat, but the human ship's targeting systems calculated every move with precise accuracy. Another shot struck the alien vessel, damaging its energy distribution system and rendering its weapons useless. On the bridge, the crew remained calm and efficient. They tracked each shot, recalculated trajectories, and fired again. Every human crew member knew their role, and the result was devastating for the aliens. Their expectation of an easy victory vanished in seconds. Meanwhile, War Admiral Zyrax Thau watched in disbelief from the Oblivion Talon. His experienced eyes could not believe what was happening. A small exploration ship, one he had assumed was. This had never happened before. Captain Halley gave the next order. "Prepare helio-strike missiles. Launch on my mark." The missile bays along the Resolute Dawn opened, revealing the powerful arsenal stored within. These missiles were designed for heavy damage against larger ships and could target multiple points simultaneously. The alien destroyers tried to regroup, but their formation was already breaking apart. The human missiles launched with incredible. They struck the alien ships simultaneously, causing chain explosions that shattered remaining structures. The Aegis Titan shield absorbed the few attacks that reached it, and the mag cannons and Helios missiles kept the alien fleet on the defensive. They were being annihilated. The tactical displays showed the grim truth. 2 destroyers had already been destroyed, and the last, its engines were failing, weapons offline, and hull integrity collapsing. Captain Hawley gave the final command. Focus all fire on remaining hostiles. End this threat. The crew worked together seamlessly. Each weapon fired, each shot calculated, each explosion precise. In less than 5 minutes, the Night Reaper was gone, leaving nothing but fragments floating in space. Had survived the attack completely unharmed as the dust and debris of battle drifted away, the crew felt a mix of relief and exhilaration. They had faced a superior force and won. They had done exactly what humanity had always done when faced with overwhelming odds: fight with courage, intelligence, and unity. Far away, aboard the Oblivion Talon, War Admiral Zirak Stal knew that his fleet had suffered a shocking defeat. The humans had shown strength in tactics he had never seen before, but Dominion had underestimated them. And now he realized something very important. These humans were not weak. They were dangerous, and their reach would only grow. The Battle of Nebula Passage 32 ended as quickly as it had begun, but the consequences were attacking a human vessel was a mistake that could lead to total destruction. The crew of the HSS Resolute Dawn had proven that even a small ship, if commanded wisely and equipped with advanced technology, could overcome the greatest threats in the galaxy. The humans had turned the ambush into their victory, and the name of their ship would soon be remembered as the symbol of courage and resilience.
The battle in Nebula Passage 32 had completely shifted in favor of the humans. The HSS Resolute Dawn glided through the asteroid-filled space like a predator, its shields glowing faintly blue as the ship prepared for the next stage of the fight. The 3 alien destroyers that had tried to ambush it had already been destroyed or critically damaged. Pieces of the Crimson Fang and Void Hunter floated silently among the rocks, twisted metal glowing from the energy discharged in their explosions. Only the Night Reaper remained, struggling to move with its damaged engines, sparks flying along its hull as the humans' rail cannon shots had torn through its armor. Far away, aboard the massive alien flagship Oblivion Talon, War Admiral Zirak was watching the chaos unfold. His normally calm, calculating demeanor had shifted to something more tense. His eyes narrowed as the live feed from the remote sensors displayed the destruction of his fleet. He had underestimated humans, a species he had read about but never truly observed in combat. Now, he realized they were not weak, not fragile, certainly not afraid. The HSS Resolute Dawn had turned a deadly ambush into an overwhelming display of power. Captain Marcus Hale knew that the aliens were still dangerous, especially the remaining Night Reaper, which could still cause significant damage if left unchecked. He moved quickly but calmly. Tactical team, plot the intercept course for the remaining destroyer. Weapons, ready all firepower, he ordered. Every crew member responded instantly, their training making them a single, efficient machine. Outside, the Night Reaper attempted to escape. Its engines flickered, producing uneven thrust as the hull damage caused critical system failures. But the human sensors tracked it perfectly, calculating the exact trajectory and speed. The rail cannons fired again. Massive metal projectiles shot out at near-light speed, slamming into the alien destroyer's side. The impact tore through its hull like paper, sending fire and debris into the void. Sparks and energy bursts lit up the blackness, reflecting off the surface of nearby asteroids. The alien ship staggered but still tried to fight. Its weapons activated, and an energy beam shot toward the Resolute Dawn. The ship's Aegis Titan shield absorbed the blast effortlessly. The crew watched as the alien vessel struggled to stabilize. Their confidence grew with every strike that landed on the enemy. And every shot that failed to penetrate their own defenses only reinforced the reality. They were in control. Then Captain Hale made a critical decision. "Prepare the Heliostrike missiles," he said, his voice calm but commanding. These missiles were specially designed for situations like this, capable of targeting multiple points on an enemy vessel simultaneously and causing devastating internal damage. The crew opened the missile bays, and the sleek, fiery weapons were loaded onto their launch platforms. Every missile glowed faintly as it powered up, ready to strike. In the alien flagship, Admiral Zyrax Thal began to panic. His fleet was almost completely destroyed. 2 destroyers gone, 1 crippled, and still the humans had not surrendered. The Admiral had been confident that his destroyers alone could intimidate and annihilate the human vessel. Now he realized his strategy had completely failed. The HSS Resolute Dawn fired its Helios missiles. Bright streaks of light shot from the missile bays, cutting across space like fiery comets. The missiles tracked the alien destroyer with incredible precision, hitting it simultaneously in 3 different locations. Explosions erupted from the alien ship, and pieces of its hull were blown into the void, spinning away from the main body. The last destroyer's engines completely failed, leaving it drifting uncontrollably. Captain Hale watched the destruction unfold, eyes steady but focused. "Excellent work, crew. Prepare for any other threats," he said. The bridge remained tense, but the crew's confidence was unshakable. They had faced overwhelming odds and were winning because of skill, intelligence, and teamwork. The Night Reaper attempted one last desperate move, sending out a faint energy signal that could have called for reinforcements from Oblivion Talon, but it was too late. The human ship had already anticipated it. Another volley of Magrail cannon shots struck the alien vessel, and the Helios missiles followed, tearing it apart in a spectacular display of explosions. Sparks, metal shards, and plasma discharged into space. Lighting up the asteroid field, back aboard the Oblivion Talon, Admiral Zyrax Thal could hardly believe what he was seeing. His seasoned officers reported the destruction in disbelief. None of their training had prepared them for a species capable of such precise, efficient, and devastating defense and attack. The humans had survived their ambush. Not only survived, they had completely annihilated 3 destroyers with superior tactics, advanced technology, and fearless determination. On the HSS Resolute Dawn, the crew took a moment to stabilize the ship and monitor the area. The asteroids continued to drift silently, and the floating wreckage of alien ships reminded them of the danger they had just overcome. Captain Hale spoke quietly but firmly. "This battle is over, but stay alert. The enemy is not gone yet. Our mission continues, and we must be ready for anything." The crew nodded. They had witnessed something incredible. They had survived a direct confrontation with a powerful alien empire and emerged victorious. The HSS Resolute Dawn was more than just an exploration vessel now. It was a symbol of human strength, resilience, and determination. Humanity had proven that even a seemingly small ship, with the right crew and advanced technology, could face a vastly superior enemy in triumph. The destruction of the alien destroyers sent a clear message to the galaxy. Humans were not to be underestimated. Any species considering attacking a human vessel would now have reason to think twice. Captain Marcus Hale's calm leadership, the crew's precision, and the advanced human technology had turned what should have been a fatal ambush into a complete victory. The Nebula Passage 32 battlefield was now silent, except for the distant hum of the HSS Resolute Dawn's engines. The aliens had learned a valuable lesson. Humanity did not surrender easily, and when pushed, humans fought with intelligence, courage, and overwhelming force. The galaxy would remember this day, not for the humans' fear, but for their unexpected power and determination. The space around Nebula Passage 32 was filled with floating wreckage from the destroyed alien destroyers. Pieces of metal drifted silently among the asteroids, glinting in the light of distant stars. For most species, seeing such destruction would be terrifying. But aboard the HSS Resolute Dawn, the atmosphere was calm and focused. The crew had proven themselves against the ambush, but the battle was not over. Captain Marcus Hale knew that the remaining alien forces could still be dangerous, and they had to act decisively to ensure complete victory. The human ship's sensors scanned the surrounding area for any sign of reinforcements. The remaining alien ship, the Oblivion Talon, had begun moving cautiously, trying to keep distance while observing the destruction of its fleet. War Admiral Zyrax Thal aboard the massive flagship was furious. He had underestimated the humans, and now his pride, and possibly his empire's reputation in the sector, was at stake. He signaled the Night Reaper, the last destroyer still attempting movement, to regroup and provide cover for the flagship. But the human sensors tracked every move, predicting their escape routes with precise calculations. Captain Hale turned to the weapons officer. "Target the Night Reaper first. Focus all firepower." The officer nodded, bringing the ship's advanced targeting systems online. The McGrill cannons rotated smoothly toward their target while the crew prepared the Heliostrike missiles for launch. Each missile was designed to track multiple points on a ship simultaneously, ensuring critical damage to engines, weapons, and command systems. As the humans prepared, the alien ship fired one last desperate volley of energy beams. The Aegis Titan shield absorbed every blast effortlessly, flickering slightly as it dispersed the energy. The crew remained calm, their training allowing them to act quickly and efficiently. Captain Hale gave the final order: "Fire everything." The rail cannons discharged first, sending solid metal projectiles hurtling through space at unimaginable speeds. Each shot struck with pinpoint accuracy. The Night Reaper shuddered as the first impacts tore into its hull. Sparks flew, systems short-circuited, and the alien crew struggled to maintain control. Before they could recover, the Helios missiles launched, streaking like fiery comets. They hit the remaining alien destroyer simultaneously at multiple points. The result was catastrophic. Engines exploded, weapons systems were destroyed, and the hull began to tear apart under the massive force of the coordinated attack. At the same time, the HSS Iron Valor and HSS Stormbreaker, human reinforcements from Defense Sector 21, arrived from hyperspace. Captain Alina Ward on the Iron Valor fired long-range plasma lances that cut through the damaged alien ships, while Captain Lucas Kane on the Stormbreaker launched heavy torpedoes to finish the job. Within moments, what had once been a coordinated alien attack fleet was reduced to floating debris. The Oblivion Talon, the alien flagship, tried to escape. It accelerated, firing energy beams in every direction to cover its retreat. War Admiral Zarax Thal believed that maybe, just maybe, he could regroup and preserve the last of his pride. But the human fleet was ready. Captain Hale directed the Resolute Dawn and the reinforcements in perfect coordination. "Converge on the flagship. Fire volleys on my mark." The rail cannons fired again, hitting critical points along the Oblivion Talon's armor. Simultaneously, the Helios missiles struck with devastating precision. Each missile exploded inside the alien ship, tearing apart energy conduits, weapon systems, and engines. Sparks and fire erupted from the hull, which cracked and bent under the force. The alien flagship shuddered violently as it tried to maintain control. Inside the Oblivion Talon, Admiral Zyrex Thal could hardly comprehend the chaos. His years of experience had never prepared him for this. The human vessels fought with a level of precision, coordination, and fearlessness he had never seen before. His remaining crew attempted to return fire, but the human shields absorbed every attack. Systems were failing, and the ship began to break apart. On the human side, Captain Hale monitored the situation closely. He knew that victory was near, but refused to let up until the alien fleet was completely neutralized. He gave one final order: all ships fired together. Focus all weapons on the flagship. The three human ships, Resolute Dawn, Iron Valor, and Stormbreaker, unleashed a synchronized attack that the Oblivion Talon could not withstand. Massive explosions rippled across its surface as energy and metal were torn apart. Finally, the alien flagship attempted one last hyperspace jump. But the combined firepower of the human fleet disabled its engines and damaged the jump drives. With a massive explosion, the Oblivion Talon disintegrated, sending enormous fragments into the void. The last remnants of the Karthari ambush fleet were gone. The humans had achieved total annihilation. In the silence that followed, the crew of the HSS Resolute Dawn took a moment to stabilize their systems and survey the battlefield. Pieces of alien ships drifted across the asteroid field, some glowing from residual energy discharges. The human fleet had survived intact, demonstrating not only strength and technology but also incredible coordination and bravery. The victory was not just physical, it sent a message across the galaxy. Any species that attempted to ambush a human ship would now know the consequences. Precise strategy, advanced technology, and fearless crews could overcome even the most powerful fleets. Captain Marcus Hale recorded the battle data, noting every move, every shot, and every system performance. This information would be invaluable for future human operations, both defensive and exploratory. As the Nebula Passage 32 cleared, the 3 human ships continued cautiously through the asteroid field. They remained alert, knowing that, even with the Karthari fleet destroyed, the galaxy was full of unknown threats. Captain Hale addressed his crew. "We've proven what humans are capable of. Remember this. Our mission is exploration, but our strength ensures our survival. Stay sharp. The galaxy watches." The crew felt a mixture of pride and relief. They had faced a seemingly impossible attack, and not only survived, but completely destroyed a superior enemy fleet. Humanity had established a presence, not through conquest, but through the demonstration of skill, courage, and unmatched teamwork. The Karthari Dominion, once confident in its supremacy, had suffered a humiliating defeat. The humans had turned what was supposed to be a simple ambush into a complete annihilation of the enemy. This battle would be remembered across the galaxy not as a minor skirmish, but as the moment humanity proved, it was a force no one could underestimate. Even in distant sectors, other civilizations would begin to hear the tale. The human fleet had survived, adapted, and triumphed against overwhelming odds, showing that humanity was not prey, but a predator capable of devastating power.
After the destruction of the Karthari fleet, space around Nebula Passage 32 was eerily silent. The floating remnants of alien ships drifted slowly among the asteroids, glowing faintly from residual energy discharges. For most species, this scene would have been terrifying. For the crew of the HSS Resolute Dawn, it was a mixture of relief, pride, and awareness that the galaxy they were exploring was far more dangerous than they had ever imagined. Captain Marcus Hale stood calmly on the bridge, watching the sensor display, his eyes scanning the wreckage for any signs of remaining threats. The battle had been intense, but the humans had emerged victorious. Every attack from the aliens had been countered with precision and strategy, and the devastating power of the mag-rail cannons and Helios strike missiles had left nothing but debris in their wake. Even the massive alien flagship Oblivion Talon, commanded by the feared War Admiral Xyrax Thal, had been annihilated. The humans had turned what should have been a simple ambush into a total annihilation of a superior enemy fleet, and the galaxy would remember it. Captain Hale turned to his crew. "Status report," he said, his voice calm but authoritative. The communications officer responded first. "All systems are stable, Captain. Shields at full integrity. Weapons offline but ready. No casualties reported." The sensor officer added, "No other hostile signatures detected in the sector. The remaining debris is drifting safely away from our path." The human reinforcements, HSS Iron Valor and HSS Stormbreaker, had also survived the battle without serious damage. Captain Elena Ward on the Iron Valor reported her status. "All systems green. Enemy completely neutralized." Captain Lucas Kane on the Stormbreaker echoed the report, confirming that the sector was secure. The 3 ships regrouped, forming a tight formation to navigate through the asteroid field and avoid collisions with drifting wreckage. Despite the victory, Captain Hale knew this was only the beginning. The Karthari Dominion was vast, with countless fleets scattered across the galaxy. Their defeat in Sector K-94 was significant, but other forces would notice the loss and could respond aggressively in the future. Humanity had proven it could defend itself, but vigilance was essential. The captain accessed the ship's long-range communication array and transmitted a secure message back to Nova Terra Prime. "The Karthari fleet has been neutralized in Sector K-94. All ships intact. Mission continues. Recommend increased monitoring of the surrounding sectors for possible retaliation."
The transmission would alert human command and ensure that the reinforcements in nearby sectors were ready if needed. As the fleet navigated the asteroid field, the crew began to discuss the implications of what had happened. The HSS Resolute Dawn had faced one of the galaxy's most feared alien empires and survived. This was not only a physical victory, but a psychological one. Humans were now a force that could not be underestimated, a young species capable of turning even the most dangerous ambush into a complete victory. The galaxy would remember the name HSS Resolute Dawn, not just as a ship, but as a symbol of human courage, intelligence, and resilience. Even in distant star systems, the news of the battle would spread quickly. Other civilizations, both friendly and hostile, would begin to reassess their assumptions about humanity. To some, humans might now seem like unpredictable but formidable allies. To others, they would become a dangerous threat, a species that refused to surrender and could destroy superior forces with precise tactics and advanced technology. Captain Hale addressed his crew once more. "This battle has been won, but our mission is far from over. We explore to learn, to map, and to understand the galaxy, but we do so knowing that humanity can defend itself, and that our strength is not just in our weapons, but in our courage and unity." The crew felt a surge of pride. They had witnessed history, and they were part of it. As the fleet moved away from the battlefield, sensors detected distant energy signatures, hinting at possible Karthari ships that might respond to the destruction of Sector K-94. Captain Hale prepared his crew for the possibility of future encounters. "Maintain alert status. Keep shields online and weapons ready. We do not know what other surprises the galaxy holds." The victory also sent a message to other species in nearby regions. Humans were not weak. Any attempts to attack a human vessel would be met with precise and devastating retaliation. Humanity had not only survived, but had annihilated a powerful fleet, demonstrating that even young civilizations could rise to incredible heights when united, intelligent, and determined. As the HSS Resolute Dawn and its allies moved deeper into human-controlled space, Captain Hale allowed himself a rare moment of reflection. The crew had proven themselves under pressure, and their success had changed the balance of power in the galaxy, at least in this sector. Every officer and crew member knew that their actions would be remembered for decades and possibly centuries as the day humanity refused to bow to the Karthari Dominion and emerged victorious. Even the remaining Karthari forces would reconsider any future engagements with human fleets. The annihilation of their destroyers and flagship had shown that humans were unpredictable, resourceful, and deadly. Captain Hale and his crew had not only survived, they had sent a warning to the entire galaxy. Humanity was strong, united, and ready to defend itself at all costs. As the ships continued their journey, the stars of Orion Frontier Sector 17 stretched out before them. The galaxy was vast and dangerous, but humanity had proven it could survive and even thrive in the face of overwhelming odds. The HSS Resolute Dawn led the way, a shining example of courage, determination, and the indomitable spirit of humankind, leaving a lasting message to every civilization that watched from the shadows: do not underestimate humanity. The battle in Sector K-94 had ended, but the legend of the HSS Resolute Dawn was just beginning. The crew had witnessed the power of strategy, teamwork, and bravery, and the galaxy would never forget the day humans turned an ambush into total annihilation, sending a clear warning to all who might dare challenge them.